The following video contains language that may be inappropriate for young viewers. Viewer discretion is strongly advised. Welcome to Behind the Bars, where we bring the unseen and the unheard stories from the depths of the prison system to the forefront. I'm your host, Jason Boss, and together we'll explore the madness, the chaos, and the harsh realities hidden behind the steel doors of prisons worldwide. From the local jailhouse to death row across the world, we'll show you the isolation, the seclusion, and the decades spent enduring unimaginable conditions. These are the stories of survival, struggle, and humanity in places most of us will never see. We're here to shine a light on what society often forgets, the voices of the incarcerated. Each story is real, each voice is authentic, and every moment reveals the raw, unfiltered truth of life behind the bars. Join me for a journey like no other, a journey into the darkness, the truth, and the resilience of the human spirit. This is Behind the Bars, real life, real stories. Ladies and gentlemen, friends and family, thank you so much for being a part of this podcast right here. You are on the phone with Terrell Perry, and he is a brother that has been doing a tremendous amount of time from the Texas Department of Criminal Justice. Guys, this is podcast number, I believe, 6 that we have on this. If you have not checked out the rest of these podcasts, guys, check them out. Start at number 1. You're going to want to hear this story. You're going to want to catch all of this. So we're right in the middle of this right now. And my brother, Terrell, how are you doing today?
I'm great, man. Just another day, man. Trying to, get a message to the people, man. Show some love, man. It's lacking, so I gotta be the one to give it.
Absolutely. Well, I really appreciate your time on this, brother, and I appreciate you talking to me. Now, for those who have not heard, the very last podcast that we ended up with, we essentially got into the entire story of, what it sounded like to me. I guess for us on the outside, we call it rickrolling. When something goes one way and then somebody just janks you back, and Terrell is doing a murder charge for a fist fight. And if that doesn't make sense, you got to check out that last podcast, because he was in the middle of having a fight with his coke dealer when somebody with a 25, I believe, shot this guy in the back.
Yeah.
Now, Terrell, both of these guys either turned state witness or somehow he got pointed as the shooter, which it definitely sounds like he was not the shooter. So, my brother, can you take me a little bit about that? You got arrested. Let's see. After the fight. So how long were you after the fight with this guy? How long were you out before you got arrested?
I was out about, I want to say about a month, man. I'm saying right around a month. Not approximately, but right around a month, a little over, a little under. And I initially I had a parole violation because I was on parole in Arkansas. So I had a parole violation for some misdemeanor checks, hot check stuff, man. My son's mother, who we was renting a room out in his house, his girlfriend was, she was smoking crack. So she stole my checkbook and was writing some bad checks, some faulty checks for a low amount. I'm glad, because they was misdemeanors, but. So I ended up getting locked up for that. I got pulled over on a traffic violation, and I had a parole hold. And then while I was locked up for that, I started getting questioned about this murder charge. So, and before I got out, because eventually I got the case dismissed for the checks because they knew it wasn't my handwriting, and I reported them stolen. So, so I was out about a month. I got locked up for that. Then they questioned me about the murders, and then eventually they indicted me while I was locked up. Finna get my parole hold off of me because I didn't do anything, so he was going to allow me to bond out and, continue to do my parole.
Okay, and this, when you were out a month, and then you got pulled over, the hot checks, and then how long were you in jail before they started, the officers or the and detectives started hitting you up on this? And what were your thoughts when this went down? What did they come at you with? What kind of information? What were they saying?
When they came at me with the information, they was talking about the lady that was in the hotel room with Doe and White basically told his mother, and she went and took her up there, and my name became a person of interest. And I was like, interest in what? And it was like for the murder of Timothy Moore. I was like, well, I was like, still. I got anxious and stressed, so I was like, hey, I don't know what you're talking about. That's like the common answer for people who either scared, trying to distance themselves away from something, or just trying to get away with it. So, and it was like, man, I don't know what y'all talking about. So, but it was like, that's not what, Doe and White is saying. So I was like, well, I don't care what he's saying. I don't know what you're talking about. So, then the second time they came up there to the county, they indicted me. And this is how they indicted me. They came up there. They had a piece of paper turned upside down. They had another piece of paper. They was like, look, the last time we didn't do the procedure quite right. I'm like, what you talking about? They said, well, anytime we talk to somebody, we have to inform them that they have the right to, like not say nothing. They're going to have to answer our questions and stuff like that. And I was like, well, all right, they said, well, we just need you to sign this paper to say that we telling you that you don't have to say anything if you don't want to. I was like, all right. Because I was like, once I sign this paper, I'm just not going to say nothing. So I signed the paper, and they leaned back, started laughing and stuff. I'm like, what they doing? So the other officer that was with him, detective, he turned over the paper and slid it to me. And he said, you just signed this indictment. I was like, what? He said, yeah, you just signed this indictment. I said, indictment for what? They said for the capital murder charge of Timothy Moore. And I just got up and started banging on the door. I took the paper, slid it off the desk, and I was like, man, let me out of here, man. Y'all playing games. Because basically they had to trick me to sign the indictment because I would have never signed that over, But, yeah, so I got extradited. I stayed over there for about another month or so to, like, January. So I left and went to the bi-state in Texas County on the Texas. I went from Arkansas side to the Texas City Jail. And that's where they started the trial. They started the lawyers, the trial came to see me and, and all that stuff, man. And, yeah, so I stayed in there in the midst of all this, I stayed in there by state for like 2 years before I actually went to trial.
Wow, so you're in county jail for 2 years, huh? So did anything with this whole paperwork trick, did this ever come out in trial or anything any of that incident come out?
Well, just with all the other events I was telling you, the people that I named for, like my lawyer and my son's mother, this is why I was saying they became important later on during my trial is because I told my lawyer about it. And he was basically saying there's nothing you can do. My lawyer's name is Butch. His name was Butch Dunbar. He was initially my second lawyer. My first lawyer got off the case because he was old. He said he was going to retire. So I got another lawyer. And my second lawyer was Butch Dunbar. And I told him about all the stuff. And he was like, man, there really nothing we can do about that. It's their word against yours. So I was like, all right. So then I started telling them about the letters because he read me the people that's going to eventually come to court and testify against me. And one of the names were my son's mother, like my girlfriend at the time. And I said, she finna do what? He said, she finna testify for the state. So I'm like, testify about what? They said that they trying to say that you told her basically that you done it. I was like, done what? So I'm like, I'm really just like, that I actually done it. They were like, yeah. I was like, no, that can't be right because I never like had any discussion about that night with her. Like I told her that, what happened, like actually what happened. So so she wanted to be the state's witness. So I said, well, look, I got some letters that she wrote me, and that she wrote me saying that I know what happened. I know you didn't do it. Basically, this is what the letters are saying. I can't wait to get out, and raise your son, be a father to your son. You're a good man, all that. So I'm like, how can she do this and then turn around and do this for the state? How can she write these letters then, say this for the state? So I told my lawyer, I gave him the letters, and I was like, well, if they do put it on the stand, show these letters. And these are the letters that she wrote. This is her letter saying that, because it's going to totally go against what they trying to, make her say, or she just decided to say, or what. I don't know what's going on with it. So when we get the trial, when we start the trial up, I'm asking him about the letters. Like, when they put her on the stand, I'm like, where's the letters? Where's the letters that I gave you to go to for the defense? Like, he was like the letters, I think they're in my office. So I was like, well, I think you need to go get them the next time we have a trial, because they trying to build this case and make it seem like I've done it, I confessed and everything, and still everything that they saying on the stand against me is not lined up with the evidence, the actual evidence that they had. And I'm like, man, it's like I don't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. It's like I was just up there lost. And when you facing accusations that you can't do anything about, and knowing that they're probably going to take your life away from you, man, it's hard, man. It's a hard feeling to feel and not know what to do, to be totally helpless.
Yeah. Now, what happened with the letters? Did the attorney get them?
I don't know to this day.
So oh my gosh, wow, bro! Dude, I just got that that chill that goes down your spine all the way, bro. That just hit me. It sounds terrible, bro. Wow. Okay, so basically, So let's talk about the trial, man. So this chick? Did they catch her with something? Did she turn state's evidence because they had a crime on her?
Well, it came out that she basically wrote some more checks for my checkbook in my name with my ID, because so they was talking about they was charging me with some more checks on the Texas side. I was like, well, when these checks were wrote, like, I think I was either locked up or like I didn't know nothing about them, because they're just like the other chicks, meaning they're not in my handwriting. I didn't sign none of this. She got access to all my information, so I don't know if she was writing them without me. Obviously she was writing without me doing it, but I don't know if she was getting my ID and writing them and stuff like that and taking. I don't know what was going on with that, but. Yeah, she wrote some checks in my name and that I was being charged with, and my lawyer brought that up and said like it's biased because she write the checks in his name, and long as she testified for the state, she would not be charged with these crimes of writing these checks. Wow. And she had utilities turned on in my name while I was locked up. Like a phone and electric bill, the light bill, water bill was turned on actually in my name, so using my ID while I was locked up for this. So I'm thinking that I don't know if she was trying to hide all this or what. So I was telling my lawyer, well, just bring charges up on her for that. Then she can't, because you could tell that if I stay locked up, she's not going to be charged with these things, And that's what he just mentioned it, and then basically just left it alone. So when I was started asking him about the checks, I'm not the checks, the letters. I was like, where's the letters, man? Just put the letters up there. You ain't got to worry about it. So he was like, man, I'm going to bring the letters, but he never did. Never brought the letters.
And this is just some public pretender, right? This is just some...
Yeah. And did my wife send you the link about what he's going through right now?
I don't think so. No.
She was supposed to, because he's under a lot of scrutiny right now. They trying to bring federal charges up against him, saying that he broke some federal charges, like withholding evidence and erasing important information about people in trials and stuff, man. You're talking right now.
You're talking about Butch Dunbar?
Yes, sir.
So Butch Dunbar is having some sort of
yes, right now.
Okay, so this cat. Okay, so this homeboy, this guy that was involved in essentially railroading you, now he's getting some action on the outside. Okay, so that's good information, right? I mean, that's the kind of stuff that could essentially at some point clear you, right? I mean, when you have a crooked pretender that's out there doing this crap. Okay, well that's good. Okay, so this chick, your ex-chick, gets on the stand. You were obviously there, right? You saw her all start talking, and what did she say? I mean, was she looking at you?
Yeah, she was looking at me, but like she took the stand, like she got up there and she's like about 6-7 months pregnant with somebody else, like another guy's child. So she's pregnant. She's up there pregnant, and she was like, yeah, he told me this and he told me that, like, and I'm like, well, on the stand, she's saying that I supposedly shot him and somebody else killed him, like somebody else choked him, like came behind him and choked him out and choked him till he stopped breathing. I'm like, all this stuff, you got everybody saying something different of how this guy died. Nobody's actually saying what actually happened, you know. And so I'm telling my lawyer, I said, look, let me get on the stand and just say what happened and whatever happened, because right now it's not looking good. So I might as well just get up there and tell them what happened, and then I'd rather accept it like that than for them to just railroad me.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, I don't think you should get on the stand. I'm not going to let you get on the stand. I said, I want you to get on the stand because everybody's telling all these different versions. I'm just going to tell what happened, the facts. And he was like, no, I can't let you get on the stand. And he was talking about the charge of when I went to the penitentiary in Arkansas for. But I was like, once they hear that, like it's just some chains got snatched. It's not like no guns involved or nothing. It just was, you know. He was like, but still, they're gonna try to paint the picture. I'm like, I don't think it's no worse than the picture they painting right now. He might as well let me get up there. But he would not let me get on the stand. He never even wanted me to get on the stand, man. So it's like a bunch of bad advice. Like he did just enough to lose, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was just bad, man.
Butch Dunbar. All right, everybody needs to realize this name. We need to look into this cat. Okay, so she gets up there, tells a whole bunch of lies. Your own attorney wouldn't even let you get on the stand, which is absolutely your choice. It has nothing to do with the attorney, but it's they should let a person, even if the attorneys don't want the witnesses on the stand, obviously, or their clients, because the prosecutors are going to dive into them. But at this point, when you're just being railroaded, and I'm just going to put this out there, man. It doesn't seem it seems like you got screwed from the very beginning, from the entire fist fight with the drug dealer to all of everywhere that you ended up, even through this trial. It just seems like the hands of the devils were doing everything possible to get you locked up, and it doesn't sound like they got the right man. It sounds like they got the wrong dude. So how long was your trial?
About 3 days.
3 days.
About 3 days, man. Yeah, about 3 days, man.
And who else turned state's witness against you?
The Owen White was the only one who actually turned state. Like actually got on the stand. And a little bit about Owen White. He had a psychological evaluation that because he told the people that he hallucinates and he sees little green men with horns and frog men that tell him what to say and tell him what to do all the time. This is the guy that they use to testify against him. Yeah, for real.
Wow.
And then in the evaluation, the guy that evaluated him, he said, Dolan would not let me finish evaluating him, so I think he should be further evaluated by somebody else. And he said, to see if he competent to stand trial, like I can't make that judgment because I can't say that he is or he isn't. And he never finished evaluating. But this is the guy that they had testifying against him. This is the guy that made the 3 different statements.
And so just let's recap this real quick. There's no evidence that links you to the murder. There's only at least 2 bad witnesses that seem to have some sort of motivation. One guy's crazy. And then you had a crappy attorney. And so you have Butch Dunbar, who has led you like cattle to the freaking slaughterhouse. So is this Dolan White? Is he still alive?
Yes, sir. And
is he a free man?
Still out there getting in trouble.
Wow.
It was like, because he got 10 years. After the trial, he signed for 10 years. They dropped the charges or something. He got 10 years. And Gene Paxton got 15 years for something. They dropped it to something that they can take a little time for. And I've been locked up over 21 years, so I've been basically, they've been free for a while, and I'm still here.
Wow. Okay. And have you gone through appeals? Have you been through anything yet like this?
Yes, I tried the appeal process, and there is DNA in my case because the guy they got some DNA from under his fingernails from the fight, right? But when they did the fingernail the DNA analysis of what they found under his fingernails, they said they can't tell if it's mine or not. But it doesn't exclude me. Like, they saying it's a possibility that it could be. And I'm like, that don't make no sense. I thought DNA was definite, like either it's mine or not.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that don't make no sense. So I'm like, if it's invisible, shouldn't even been allowed to be said in front of the jury. No way if you can't tell whose it is.
Now, what was
the DA told the jury it was mine. So, so when I'm trying to bring this up, during the appeal process, but check this out. Butch Dunbar acted as my direct appeal attorney. He did my direct appeal.
That guy was still around?
So I wrote him a letter and said I want ineffective assistance of counsel put into my direct appeal because I was counsel property. And he was like, and he's not going to file that because he would be admitting that he didn't do a good job at trial because he was my trial attorney and my direct appeal attorney. So he did not bring this up. He wrote me back and said, I don't think that would be good to put that in there. We're going to focus on constitutional violation. I'm like, that is a constitutional violation. But he didn't put it in there. So it's like it was a conflict of interest because I had grounds that could have possibly got my case put back in court that he was not going to bring up because they were talking about him. He was my trial.
Now, at any point, did you think that maybe Butch Dunbar wasn't the right guy for this other thing, and did you ever think of possibly firing him before this appeal?
Yes. And when I put in the letter to him to try to get another lawyer for it, he had already turned in the brief. And they already gave a final fact conclusion of law to the brief and basically affirmed my conviction. And then he sent me a letter saying that, the rest is up to you. Basically, you got to, learn the law and do your PDRs and your 1107s and all this. So I'm like, man, it happened fast before I even knew what was going on. But at that time, I knew zero about law. Even now, I probably know 0.1% about law, with all the studying I did. Because I went to the law library 5 years, but it's like I didn't know what I was doing. No, I don't know nothing about the law. I did a good job, I think. Then I got time barred because the state, the magistrate judges, the magistrate clerk in Texas County actually lost my 1107, and couldn't nobody find it for about 17 months or so. So I got time barred, and it just was bad, man. I just got screwed around all the way around, man, from the beginning to the end.
All right, let's continue on a little bit with Butch Dunbar. Now, whatever's happening to him in the legal world, whatever happens is something. I mean, what's the next step for you on trying to, number one, get rid of this guy for good, and what needs to take place for you to get a real trial, for you to get a real investigation, for you to have any shot at what the rest of the people, like the whole thing about the Miranda rights, I'm stunned. I'm actually stunned, and I truly believe your entire story as far as from the moment they bamboozled you. And I see that a lot. I see guys that don't read their paperwork, and the people get screwed. And that's the bottom line. And you have to really understand law to understand this. What let's say, for instance, Butch Dunbar is prosecuted or kicked off, or there's some dirt that is found on him. Where do we go from here to get you some hope? Is it you have to get a bunch of money and give it to an attorney and have him fight you, or fight for you, or what's the next step?
Well, that's just the part, because we are at extremely lack of information in here. We don't have access to anything, so I have to rely on people like my wife, which is, man, she's just been a great help in my life, man. And I have to rely on her to do checks and try to look up information, but she really don't know where to begin. So we will have to find a starting point. So in the case that he is charged or disbarred or something like that, all the cases that he presided over, they would. I would hope that they would have to go take a look at him, because my case is like a real. Because I have a serious charge, basically, by law, and if he would have did and presented the evidence and wouldn't have hid the letters or got rid of the letters or didn't think there were anything and let me get on the stand and all that, I really think that it could have been different. Something could have been different. You know what I'm saying? And so I would have to find a lawyer or I'll have to find some information to know what to do, because I honestly don't know who to talk to. But I would print out or send the links that he has been disbarred or charged or whatever in the case that he is. I would send them to people and ask what am I to do, because this guy represented me in a murder charge, in a murder trial. Mm-hmm. And I think he did the same thing in my cases, because I have the letters that I wrote him. I think I sent them to my wife. I have the letters that I wrote asking about the letters. Man, I will have to find out, man. I think it's some people that probably know who to talk to.
I'll look
about that thing.
I'm looking at Butch Dunbar. I think everybody out there that's listening to these podcasts, I don't think we should be doing people like this. I really don't think that this kind of system should be allowed. And we're running up almost out of time here, my brother. And
all right.
As you're like one of the most positive dudes I've talked to, who have literally.
Hey, I gotta say about it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is you got ripped off. You got ripped off in life and in society, but yet you still have a positive attitude. And what you're doing,
1 minute left.
What you're doing to take care of other brothers inside of the prisons, taking care of them like you do, I think you're a one of a kind, bro. And I really appreciate you, and I really appreciate what you do, and I appreciate your story, brother. So we're about to get cut off. Thank you very much for being on this podcast. Thank you very much for sharing your life story, and I will talk to you again very, very soon.
Yes, sir, you will, man, and praise to the Father, man. I got to give hope. Well, there is no hope.
Absolutely.
Yes, I got to, man. I got to give people a chance to fight like I have.
Yep, never give up.